As China's economy continues to spiral, workers are feeling the burden, as employers treat them more and more like slaves. And here I thought communism was a worker's paradise. Welcome to China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell. Mark your calendars, my friends, on Saturday, October 5th at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. I will be hosting a special live stream celebrating you for helping us reach 2 million subscribers. And you'll want to be there. There will be some big announcements about the future of the show, and Matt Shelley and I will do something we've never done before. Again, that's Saturday, October 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. See you there. And now, on with the show. So working in China is flat out depressing. Like, put nets under the building to stop people from jumping to their deaths depressing. Many live the technically illegal 996 life, which means working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. But there are over 200 million gig workers, jobs like food delivery drivers, and they don't have it any easier either. The poor treatment delivery drivers get has been a hot topic these days. It came to a boiling point last August when a picture of a delivery driver named Yang Xiaobing kneeling in front of a security guard went viral. The security guard reportedly took Yang's scooter keys away and threatened a heavy fine for alleged railing damage after Yang scaled a low fence to make a rush delivery. Mind you, this is a security guard, not a police officer. Security guard's authority extends just slightly past, "Help, I need an adult." Lots of people were outraged by the incident, which led to a delivery driver protest against the security guard, the people who hired him, and terrible working conditions for gig workers in China. As protests escalated, Meituan, the delivery platform that the writer in question was working for, said it will take thorough responsibility to look into whether Yang was treated unfairly and ensure its delivery riders are properly protected. Keep a mental note of Meituan. I'll come back to it in a minute. Just a month after that whole incident, another delivery driver story sparked outrage. This time, it involved a 55-year-old delivery rider named Yuan, who died while resting on his bike after working 18-hour shifts daily, sometimes working until 3 a.m. and then waking up at 6 a.m. It's worth noting that Yuan had suffered a leg fracture in a traffic accident while delivering an order just 2 weeks earlier, and that he had only taken 10 days to recover, and that at the time of his death, it was around 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit in his city and had been hot for several days. Again, cries for better working conditions for gig workers in China rang out, but the response was lackluster, to say the least. Remember Meituan, the delivery platform I mentioned earlier? Guess what it decided to do just weeks after Yuan's death? It published this report claiming that a majority of its riders don't work under intense conditions and make loads of money. That report provoked a lot of pushback. Many users argued that the figures that Meituan shared suggesting riders earn high wages and work few hours on average were misleading, especially since gig workers do not receive the same benefits as full-time employees in other industries. But let's say Meituan riders really are working fewer hours. That isn't the norm in the entire delivery industry. According to a researcher at the Institute of Journalism and Communication under the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, a survey showed that the percentage of full-time delivery riders in China doing over 10-hour workdays drastically increased from 36.5% in 2018 to 62.6% in 2021. Given the state of China's economy, I wouldn't be surprised if even more people are putting in long hours now. But long work hours are just the tip of the iceberg. There's also the abuse that companies impose on their employees. This once again came to people's attention after Chinese bubble tea chain giant GoodMe thought it was a good idea to follow a TikTok trend and publicly shame employees with signs around their necks saying, "I'm guilty," alongside things like failing to add nuts, forgetting to include a straw, and forgetting to put on a lid. Yes, this is how you show people how seriously you take customer service. Didn't take too long for people to get outraged, forcing GoodMe to apologize and take down the video and say it was a misguided attempt at humor. It's just a joke, man. Look at how funny they think it is. Those are tears of laughter. Given the current state of work in China, I don't blame people for feeling angry. Employees are burned out and at their wits' end. And there have even been some rather viral stories of employees snapping and fighting with customers. This is equal parts chaotic and cathartic. This sort of thing has been getting a lot of attention these days. And all that's if you even have a job. Enter China's youth unemployment rate. When people suspected that youth unemployment may have hit as high as almost 50% last year, the CCP stopped sharing youth jobless data. Months later, it resumed publishing youth jobless data, only with a new method to make the numbers lower. But even with the new metric, China's official data shows that things are rapidly getting worse. China's youth unemployment hit a new high recently as fresh college graduates flood the market. China's National Bureau of Statistics reported that the jobless rate for 16 to 24-year-olds rose to 18.8% in August, from 17.1% in July and 13.2% in June. Even for Chinese people in their mid to late 20s, things are getting worse. Let me remind you that this is after China modified its metrics. It doesn't count people who are still in school and does a whole lot of mathematical alchemy to make the numbers as low as possible. So things are a lot worse than they seem. This comes as the Chinese economy continues faltering, with its retail sales and industrial data growing more slowly than expected, and its stock market taking a nosedive. With an economy this bad, it's no surprise companies are hesitant to hire new people. For all they know, things could get even worse. They might have to fire people, and that would cost a lot, since companies are required to give a 30-day notice plus 2 months' salary. So workers in China can't win. Working conditions are abominable, while entirely too many people who want to work are out of luck, and the economy is in an out-of-control downward spiral. No wonder many in China are calling it the garbage time of history, a futile dead end for the country with no chance of a comeback. And as much as Chinese state-run media pushed back on the concept earlier last summer, things in China are looking very bleak. It might be time to install some more anti-suicide nets. To keep exposing the CCP like this, I need your help. Contribute to the show on the crowdfunding website patreon.com/ChinaUncensored. You can contribute however much you want, but you could even set a monthly limit so you're only giving just $1 a month to the show. And as a thank you to everyone who contributes, I'll answer your question or comment at the end of these episodes. Today's comes from Eugene R. Sano Jr. Chris, with these tactics, how in the hell does the CCP think this will inspire people to increase their shrinking population? Great question, Eugene, especially for this episode. So Eugene was actually responding to this episode I did earlier this week about how the CCP has been warning Chinese people essentially not to trust anyone foreign. You should only trust the CCP. Obviously, most Chinese people see through all this mess. Because as I talked about in this episode, the thing that's really affecting people is not foreign spies, but the fact that just earning a living is becoming damn near impossible. Which is a big reason why China's population is declining. Over the next century, the population could even halve. Now, a big part of that was the one-child policy that meant for decades, China's population was kept artificially limited through forced abortions and sterilizations. Yes, workers' paradise. But now the current generation of young people don't want to get married. They don't want to have kids. They can barely survive themselves. And this will have tremendous ramifications for the Communist Party. So let that be a lesson to you. Communism doesn't make people want to make babies. Thanks for your question and your support, Eugene. But you know what does make people want to have babies? All the things that I know are in your browser history. And on this episode from my new gaming channel, I talk about why you should probably delete it. Click here to check it out. And click that orange button to join me on Patreon. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching China Uncensored.